Hey there, Thrones fans! Welcome back to another installment of Harry and Justin Go. You know what, Game of Thrones? You ain't so hot shit.
That's right. No, I am still a fan and will continue to watch it.
Yeah, I hear you. I'll finish it off, but for me, that it isn't like. It isn't like. I'm trying to think of like another saga that I got like really into. Like growing up or whatnot. Like I really like the Harry Potter series.
I agree.
And
did you actually watch all the movies?
I did see the movies. Yeah. I read them.
I only saw the first couple of movies.
To be fair, I actually kind of preferred the first two movies out of all of them. Mainly because the stories were shorter, they were able to fit more from those books into the movies.
Okay.
And I just
oh yeah, I remember getting the fourth book.
It was massive.
Which might be the last one I read, The Goblet of Fire. Did I just die?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus, this thing is huge!
Yeah. Like, I think the first Harry Potter book, like, my mom lent it to me, and I finished it in, like, 3 days. Because I had, like, a cold, and I'm like, I had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
And I just polished it off at my leisure. But then, like, you know, trying to read Half-Blooded Prince was like, alright, I gotta squeeze in another couple chapters before I go to work.
I think when I read Goblet of Fire, it might have been the biggest book I ever read in my entire life.
At the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I've read anything bigger since.
Dude, the Game of Thrones books are bigger.
Are they?
Yeah.
I've read them all e-format, so I have no idea what's up.
Honestly, those books, not only that, are dense. A lot of
they are definitely a lot more dense.
Yeah, like the Harry Potter books, I noticed had a bigger font because it was meant for kids still.
And you know what? I will go out on a limb and say that in general, Harry Potter is definitely ranks above Game of Thrones as far as well written.
Yeah.
I think in general it is. Now, some of the stuff in Game of Thrones is more compelling.
Yes.
More interesting. But the writing in general, J.K. Rowling is a better writer in general.
I agree, because there was, how do I put it? There was something very, maybe not so much comforting, but there was a bit more emotion to what she was doing. Like, when people celebrated, you were really happy. When people mourned, you were really, like, you mourned with them. There was a lot more, Game of Thrones is a lot more of a chronicle.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the thing is that Harry Potter's world is way more real than Westeros.
Yeah.
George Martin does not write background well. He writes dialogue fantastically.
Yeah.
But I think if you took his books and you literally cut out every single thing other than dialogue, you'd have 90% of the experience.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even need to know any of the, like, this is where we are.
Yeah.
This is the background. This person went to this place. It's pretty much all explained through dialogue anyways. So the actual explanations are redundant. Yeah.
No, I see. I agree with you there. I do like the cultures and whatnot set up. Like, there was a lot of really great world building that I liked in both. Like, in Harry Potter's world, I want to live in Harry Potter world, because Harry Potter world is awesome for everybody that isn't Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that everyone is really awesome.
Yeah, like, could you imagine that being like, yeah, it kind of sucked for, like, in Britain, because, like, you had Voldemort and everything else, but that was in Britain. The schools in, like, Russia or China or, like, America where none of that was going on would have been awesome. Like, I want to go to the American Wizarding School. What's the American Wizarding style? It's like, I summon an eagle.
With a machine gun in its hand.
Yeah, for America,
But that's probably why she didn't include the Americans.
Yeah.
Kind of dicks.
I would have loved to have seen, like, a Yanks. Oh, hey, it's her dad. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen, like, a Yanks in Harry Potter world.
I almost did. You made me very angry, Faith.
Wait, going to my
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
One could almost say it's your specialty, considering the extent to which you've recently aggrieved Mr. Kruger.
Why is her dad so pissed?
Whatever it is you stole from him must be very valuable.
It's the blueprint for reflection.
Ah.
Probably should have told your dad that.
Not right now, but...
Then we will discuss your debt when you do.
What?
In the meantime, I believe a show of good faith is in order. Pardon the pun.
Hardy har har.
Anansi have been remiss with their payments. A little human
It can't be her
touch.
dad. It's her dad, is
That's
that?
her dad, yeah.
Her dad's like a gang
Go to
leader?
the Anansi Emporium. I will update you along the way.
Yeah.
So he's a dick?
A little bit of a dick.
What?
Yeah.
Anyways,
but yeah,
Harry
like,
Potter.
so that's the thing is like, everyone wants to be in the Harry Potter world because it's very magical and wonderful, and it just seems, you know,
Sure.
like a great thing to, it'd be
Got
a great...
grappling hook, great.
Oh, nice. I think you already had one.
A much differenter grappling hook.
Gotcha. But yeah, but it's just a wonderful place to be. Westeros is fine when they're not tearing each other apart.
Yeah, like the very few times where it's been like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a mostly not happy-go-lucky place.
Which is part of the story of Westeros, is to kind of show you how, like, it screws over the small folk, as it were.
Yeah, like the small folk are like this constant cannon fodder amongst everything that happens. As you know, that's the thing they're going to be talking about, like the Westeros papers. It's like Queen Cersei destroys like major part of the city.
Oh,
like
that reminds me.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone believes it wasn't her?
At this point,
Because, I mean, she didn't claim responsibility. Like, what's the official story going to be?
you know what that's going to be interesting. You know what it's going to be? Whatever she damn well tells everybody it is. It's like, oh, it must have been someone didn't like.
Poisoned by our enemies.
Yeah. By our very, very big important enemies. Who? The Tyrells did it. Because, fuck you.
Yeah, they wanted to kill their kid. They didn't care so much that they were willing to kill their
Literally all their kids.
kid. Oh yeah, literally all of them.
Yeah. But it's, you know, it is what it is. I honestly couldn't tell you, and I am kind of... But the thing is, who's going to argue with her at this point? Is there anyone even left in Westeros to
But
argue
here's
with
the
her?
thing. Who's gonna stop people from arguing her?
I don't... There's 4 people left, man. Like...
She's got the mountain, which I did enjoy how they... Oh, come on. Oh, I made it.
Hey.
I did enjoy how they actually revealed, like, yeah, this is the fucking mountain.
Yeah.
Like, where am I going? Oh.
You're gonna go that way. I didn't see the mountain reveal, so... Isn't he like all Frankenstein and shit?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he is the mountain still.
He's still the mountain that rides.
It was like... Okay, I'm
Alright,
really missing something here.
But yeah, but... I forget what my original point was at this point, because we kind of keep jumping.
The world building in Game of Thrones is you enjoyed both writing.
But the Harry Potter one was a lot cozier. It was like, it was more enjoyable to just kind of sit and read about. Like, the Game of Thrones one is just, it's kind of like exactly what you would expect it to be.
There we go.
There you go. It's, you know, it's basically Europe vaguely fantasyified.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what though? It's so funny. The general world building, I agree. The stories of the houses,
Yeah.
the stories of their lands, great. The one thing I remember the Battle of Whispering Woods?
Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
Not much. I remember characters talking about it afterwards, but that was about it.
So Jaime Lannister gets captured.
That battle, yeah, okay, yeah, he gets captured, and then there's the mummers, the bloody mummers. They're the ones I remember.
Oh, yeah. But basically, I actually skipped that whole battle.
Yeah.
Other than the dialogue, and I knew everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And that's just what his background is just not so good. What just happened? I did it.
It's teaching you to do a thing. You're learning mechanics.
Benefactor.
The-
Oh, that's not my dad.
Oh, that was her dad.
No, it's Dogan, the
Why is
dude I know.
drawing in all capitals?
Oh wait, maybe he is my dad. What?
Your dad may be... I don't know.
I don't.
We're not paying close enough attention. We're being bad Let's Players. Everyone tell us in the comments. I like being told I'm a bad boy.
Please.
Between what?
A giant counterweight intended to make the building safe for earthquakes and hurricanes. But not for me.
Ooh, snap!
Are you gonna, like, knock this shit down? I do like this game mechanic.
If you get it to work.
Every day.
I wonder
Oh, there
how
we go.
This
It's
was
'cause the right button turns you
rendered,
around.
because this looks amazing.
It looks pretty good. It is probably my turn runner's vision back on. I don't want to go through this without holding my hand. It's annoying.
Coward. You just keep running straight into walls. It's funny.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how to go up.
Probably that way.
Nope.
The other side, I mean.
Oh,
See?
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know.
Hell yeah, go online.
I loved Game of Thrones a little bit, but it's just kind of wearing on me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I
At this
still
point,
enjoy
I'm
it.
like, cool, you made it to the mountain, dropped the fucking ring in the volcano.
Fair
Let's go
enough,
back to the
fair enough.
Shire.
Here's the thing, is I feel like there's almost a legitimate chance,
Nice
that
catch.
they don't beat the White Walkers, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah, but that just kind of feels like I don't disagree with you. I just feel like that would be really unsatisfying.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think they make it, like, satisfying enough.
I don't know, because then it just kind of feels like, all right, all this stuff happened, and there was a war that had nothing to do with all this stuff that happened in the middle, and then everyone just kind of loses anyway. It's like, it's very...
I guess if you put it that way,
Well,
it
that's
sounds pretty
what
shitty.
That's what it would be. That's one of the things that's been kind of bugging me, is that in the beginning it's like this idea that the White Walkers are finally coming. The Song of Ice and Fire is the idea of this chronicle between the War of Fire and the War of Ice, and these two elemental powers kind of coming at each other. And when I first read that and I started to read the books, I had assumed that it was a war, the idea was that it was going to be a war that was set as winter was starting, and that was going to be a major play. Like, this conflict gets started, and then the White Walkers show up, and then everyone kind of has to deal with that, and that's what inevitably brings peace back to Westeros, is because there's this external threat.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what they're kind of aiming at.
Yeah, but the thing is the external threat has come at such a late point that it just kind of feels like, if it had never been a part of the stories beforehand.
I hit the button, thank you.
Apparently not. Apparently you hit the ground.
Now, what's the question?
No, like, if the White Walkers had never been introduced into the stories.
Yeah.
And yes, you'd have to change around some plot points here and there. But you could easily change a lot of the conflicts with the White Walkers to simply conflicts with the Wildlings. How much of the story would be changed?
Well, the whole story in the North would be different.
A little bit.
I don't think you can describe that as a little bit.
Well, what have the White Walkers done in the North? Like, seriously.
United the Wildlings with the Northerners.
Okay. So here's the thing. Let's say Mance Rayder had gone and just started pulling together all of these various tribes of wildlings because winter was coming in and they were starving, and he was like, if we head south, we can find some way to try to survive. Now, mind you, I'm spitballing here.
Yeah, I'm listening.
But then it was because of the war and everything else that was going on down in Westeros, the Jon Snow and the rest of the Crows were like, you know what, if we deal with the wildlings like this and make sure they don't invade, let some of them through and deal with them and let Stannis come help us out a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we can find like some kind of middle ground where they stop attacking us and we don't have to, you know...
I don't think that works because they didn't show it too much in the show.
Yeah.
But the Wildlings versus the Northerners is more like peace in the Middle East type thing.
Yeah,
like, that shit's not happening without the serious external... You know, it's kind of the same thing. It's the same thing as Watchmen, except without the, like, someone actually creating the bad guy.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing, though.
Oh god, this is freaking me out.
What?
I have a nigh crippling fear of heights, and you know how everyone has their own nightmares and whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is mine. This
really?
is
The videos of the dudes climbing the cranes and stuff?
yes, literally yes. That is what I have nightmares about. This is my nightmare.
How's this?
Me trapped on top of a building on something that I just can't get climbed down from without having to deal with the yawning void beneath me.
Yawning. Well, you gotta stare into the abyss, bro. That's what Mirror's Edge is all about.
No, is it? I thought it was about like cyberpunk bullshit.
Where's the damper tuna?
Yeah, it's definitely about cyberpunk bullshit, don't worry.
It's about both. It has layers, Justin.
It's really a deep game.
Yeah.
So
About
deep.
parkour.
About parkour. You
Uh,
parkour your way into your soul.
Yeah, right. Why is everything in this game yank the chip out?
That's how electronics work.
You yank one chip out and everything falls apart?
You know, you pull the thread and the sweater will come apart or
Fair enough.
something. Zoolander.
Yeah. What were we just jawing on about?
Would Game of Thrones be different? If
Yeah,
there
but the
was
thing is like, here's the thing. If the White Walkers had never been a part of it, and George was like, alright, I need to have some kind of reason for the wildlings to head down south and cause a larger conflict with the men at the wall,
Yeah.
then he could have come up with a human one at the same time. Like, there could have been another external threat that had nothing to do with snow zombies on snow spiders.
Whoops! Nailed it.
Yep, you are dead.
I agree.
I just
But the thing is, you're basically saying if the story was different, it could have been differenter.
well, that's the thing. What I'm saying is that you
could
have
said
it.
it's not a fantasy. You're just saying, what if Game of Thrones wasn't a fantasy novel? And it's like, okay.
Well, that's the thing is I like the idea of having a fantasy novel, but have the elements that are fantastic at least feel
Yeah, to be fair,
important.
I agree. I mean, he spent a long time without magic, essentially.
Yeah, like I mean, let's be honest here. He should have just written a low fantasy setting from the get-go. Like, most of the fantasy elements play very, very little roles in anything that's going on in the story. What have the fucking dragons done?
Yeah,
besides,
that's what I mean, is like, the dragons really haven't done anything.
yeah, like, I was like, oh shit, dragons, those are gonna be her A game, her tanks.
And they are 5 books later.
Yeah, but that's the thing is it was like, at one point she was like, oh, I'm gonna trade one of my dragons for the slave army. Oh, you can't enslave a dragon, and she just lights it in fire. I'm like, there you go, look. She used the dragon, she still did her political thing. It was probably, like, one of the better usages of it.
Agreed.
But then it's like, alright, fine. Then past that, there was, like, no real...
Yeah, there's no dragons in the books. In
Yeah.
the show, they're showing that what the dragons are finally doing. But
Yeah.
they spent a whole ton of seasons with them not doing shit.
Yeah, like,
So I agree.
Bran finally hooked up to, like, the elf internet
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That didn't really bother me. I thought that was fine. Well, that building is getting messed up.
That thing tore through the entire building. I didn't.
As intended. It'll be some time before Nazi recovers from that.
Like, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah, I'm taking the clamps off the counterweight. Will they drop? No! I assure you it won't. But there you go, like, all of the stuff having to do with, like, the weird profit-y nonsense felt very unimportant most of the time. except for
Agreed,
one-
yeah. The prophecy, like, why do we care if it's fulfilled, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like, it just kind of felt like, yes, there are fantasy elements to my really big, important political, like, medieval book. Like, if it was all not fantasy, I would not be complaining. I would be like, man, this would be so much better with elves and dragons.
Hi!
Oh,
Jesus.
God, finish this mission, please.
Oh, you don't like the view?
No.
That's
No,
nice.
I literally don't. Every time you fall a little bit, my leg seize up.
Damn,
if
man.
this was in VR, I would have thrown the Oculus across the room.
I wonder if this game works. Nah, there's not. Maybe.
You could do it in VR, it'd be cool.
This is the fastest construction elevator I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
this is a very dangerous elevator.
I'm pretty sure they're supposed to go a lot slower than this. I like how you're going all the way down to the rooftops.
Yeah.
Like, this, it's so far up. I don't think I can make this.
Nope,
Made it.
you are gonna die. But yeah, no, that's my only real complaint. Like, Harry Potter was 100% necessary for the fantasy elements to be there.
It's a story about wizards.
Exactly.
Wizards.
The Lord of the Rings is literally about a magical war. So you have all these various magical races and what they have to contribute and how it affects them in it. Like, that's the point of that story. Like, if you're gonna have a fantasy elements in a story, they should be valuable to an extent or have meaning to the story.
I agree.
He's gone missing and I can't reach him on the beat.
Who?
Why is this my problem?
That is my feelings exactly. Alright. That was an interesting discussion. If you enjoyed this as much as we did, drop us a like. It really helps us out. And we will see you next time.
See you next time, folks.